Viper Commandos, an inspired but also a somewhat strange addition to the massive collection of Helldivers 2 Warbonds. It comes with a good selection of items, but the items range from excellent to downright trash. So we're going to take a look at each page of this Warbond so that you guys can decide if it's worth picking up for yourselves, or if you already own this Warbond, then we can have a good discussion about it in the comments. We are getting started on page 1 with the AR-23A Liberator Carbine. This weapon is extremely similar to the standard Liberator. They fire the same ammo, and they have the same magazine size by default, but the Liberator Carbine has a much faster fire rate, and a different sight by default. I wasn't a big fan of this weapon until we got weapon customization. That's when everyone, including myself, started grinding out XP to unlock the drum magazine and some foregrips. Now, this weapon is a fan favorite. People have started calling it the Smallwart, as in small stalwart, of course. If you have time to grind out the levels and get all the attachments, then this is an insanely good weapon that can absolutely pump out damage with little to no recoil. If you don't want to grind though, then the standard Liberator will be just fine for you. The only real downside to the standard Liberator is just fire rate, and that's it. Page 1 also has the PH9 Predator armor set. I think this Warbond has the most unique armor in the game, mainly because it was the only armor in the game that actually showed your character's skin, at least until Servants of Freedom came out. I think it's a great look. The sleeveless armor combined with the camouflage, it's great. It's clearly inspired by movies like Commando and Predator, and the whole sleeveless military look is inspired by American soldiers in Vietnam as well. I think the helmet is one of the coolest designs in the game. Everything about it is badass. You got the skeleton, jaw, and the beret. And you can make it look good on multiple sets of armor too, which isn't very common in Helldivers 2. The armor passive in this Warbond is Peak Physique, which gives you better weapon handling and doubles your melee damage. The weapon handling is a decent perk. It's good for people that like to play close quarters, or for anyone that uses exceptionally heavy weapons like the Eruptor or the HMG. The melee damage is a far more interesting perk though, because this applies to all sources of melee damage. That includes quick melee, melee weapons, bayonets, and even the kick emote from Urban Legends. Having double the melee damage makes melee weapons much more appealing and almost makes them semi-viable, but they still don't hold a candle to other secondaries in my opinion. But with this passive, they are a decent enough option if you need to defend yourself in a pinch. And of course, melee weapons are reliable. You don't need to reload an axe or a sword. So while I would not recommend this passive for being efficient on high difficulties, it is still unique, and it gives you some interesting buffs that you can't get anywhere else. So it's pretty cool and pretty fun. It's just not my favorite, that's all. Page 1 also has the Welcome Adoration Victory Pose. This victory pose, it reminds me of something. I just can't seem to put my finger on it. Now, let's take a look at page 2. And we're starting off page 2 with the SG-22 Bushwhacker. This is currently the only secondary shotgun in Helldivers 2, and it's a very unique weapon. It is a triple barrel, break action, sawed off shotgun, so this weapon has a lot going for it. It fires 10 gauge buckshot shells, which is the exact same ammo that the Punisher uses. So for a secondary, this is pretty strong, but the Bushwhacker is sawed off after all. The pellets go flying everywhere, so the only way to effectively use it is to barrel stuff the enemy and pull the trigger. This makes it a good option for defending yourself when an enemy gets too close for comfort. You can whip out your Bushwhacker and instantly deal some really good damage for a secondary weapon. There's also an alternate firing mode that allows you to fire all 3 barrels at once. This deals insane amounts of damage, but of course, since you're firing all barrels, you can only use it once before reloading, so make sure you use it wisely. Overall, the Bushwhacker is a really fun secondary, and it's much more useful than people will give it credit for. It's really cool, and I like to use it against the bugs a lot. Page 2 also has an armor set, the PH-202 Twig Snapper armor set. This armor is much more my style. I'm a big fan of heavy armor, and they still managed to make it look nice and fit the themes of the Warbond, so that's pretty awesome. It looks big and bulky, very nice, and the helmet is really cool too. Kinda looks like the Republic troopers from Star Wars The Old Republic, and I'm a big fan of that look. The only real problem I have with this armor, and both armor sets in this Warbond, is that the camo doesn't look good on most planets. It looks really out of place on most planets, and it kind of irritates me. It's like when you're playing Battlefront 2 and you see someone playing Endor Leia on Hoth. It's just wrong. It's against nature. So this armor makes a really good case for armor pattern customization. If you could give this armor, urban camo or desert camo, then that would be awesome. I would love that. And I hope that armor customization comes out sooner rather than later, but you know what? I'm willing to wait for something good. Page 2 also has the Guns of Liberty victory pose. This is the best pose for when you join at the end of a mission, do nothing, and extract. We gotta show off those guns. Now we are gonna move on to page 3, and we're starting off page 3 with the Experimental Infusion Booster. This booster is really, really good. I use it all the time, and I think it's the best part of this Warbond. It gives a big buff to your stims. Using a stim with this booster equipped will increase your movement speed and reduce damage taken by 10% each. It might not sound like a lot, but you will notice a difference when you're using it. The movement speed boost feels great, especially if you need to get somewhere fast and you're relying on stims for extra stamina. So it's great for sprinting out to recover lost gear or samples, and it's great for credit farming. The damage resistance is great too. You can end up surviving some more dangerous situations than before. The only downside to this booster is the increased weapon sway when you're drugged up. It will increase weapon sway by 25% after you take a stim, but it's not a huge deal, and it's worth trading that for the other benefits that you get from these stims. So yes, I absolutely recommend this booster. This is how boosters should be balanced in Helldivers 2. It's not essential, it's not a must-have, but you feel the impact when you use it, and it's awesome to use. Page 3 also comes with the Viper Commando title. This was the first Warbond that ever added a title as a reward, so this was very unique for the time. And Viper Commando is a pretty cool title to have. Every Warbond after this would also include a title as a reward, and honestly, they should go back and add titles to the Warbonds before Viper Commandos. They did that for the FRV patterns, so it would make sense to do it for titles as well. The final weapon that comes with Viper Commandos is the K2 throwing knife. I've said it 100 times before, the throwing knife is bad. It sucks. It's a really cool idea, but it's just bad. Your Helldiver throws it like a wet noodle. Worse than a wet noodle. I could throw a wet noodle straight, but you can't throw these things straight. They fly off to the left and usually don't land anywhere near where you're targeting. They do shitty damage when you consider the effort you put in to make it work. You do get 20 of them, and that's really the saving grace of this weapon. That is by far the most throwables you can carry in the whole game. But you can't even pick them back up after throwing them. You need to resupply yourself with these shitty little toothpicks. I'm sure that someone out there is a huge fan of them. That's fine, you're entitled to your opinion. My opinion is that they suck, and they need some big changes to actually be worth using. This is by far the worst item in the whole Warbond, and one of the worst items in any Warbond ever released. Just my opinion, but god damn, these things suck. And our final item is the Test of Conviction emote. This emote is hilarious because it appears to last for an indefinite amount of time, so you could just sit there, hand in hand with another diver, until one of you gets sick of it. And it is definitely inspired by this famous scene from Predator, so it fits perfectly with this Warbond and its themes. This is also great for setting up cool screenshots, and now we just need a photo mode in Helldivers too. That would be great. In conclusion, Viper Commandos is a pretty good Warbond, and it's only gotten better over time. When it came out, there were no melee weapons, and no weapon customization, and the throwing knives were even worse than they are now, so it was massively downgraded compared to where it is now. Honestly, when it came out, I thought it really sucked. But despite the improvements it's seen over the past year or so, I still wouldn't say that it's an essential Warbond for new players. It's pretty good, but there are other Warbonds you should get first if you just got the game. There are some standout items, like Experimental Infusion and the Liberator Carbine, but unfortunately, you do need to grind for the Carbine to be really, really good. And some of the other items are really not that good at all. The throwing knives suck, and I wouldn't use the vehicle patterns on most maps. They don't fit on most maps because of the, the woodland camouflage they have on. This Warbond was also very important for the future of Warbonds as a whole. It was the first premium Warbond to add vehicle patterns, and emote, and a title as rewards. Those have become staples of new Warbond releases since Viper Commandos came out. So, anyways, I think Viper Commandos is a good choice if you already have a few Warbonds and you're wondering what to get next. It's pretty fun, it's pretty cool, it has some cool stuff, it's not essential, but it is good enough to consider getting. But what do you think about Viper Commandos? Do you own it? Are you planning on getting it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed watching, and subscribe for more videos on Helldivers 2. And that's all I have for today, so this is the SES Prophet of Dawn, signing off.